My name is Christy Moore, and I was one of the last ones invited to speak at this event. And that kind of tells you something, right? But also, it's been a very crazy, busy week for me this week, kind of sleepless week. And I was just telling my dear roommate Allison from WI, who I just saw today, that little do you know, but I have gauze and makeup covering the black circles that said Texas under my eyes. So it's been definitely a very busy time for me right now. But this past Tuesday, as I was driving back and forth doing errands and praying and trying to find out what God wanted me to share with you all today, I thought I should call my mom. And yes, I call my mom for advice all the time still. And as we were talking, I just said, Mom, I do not know what to share at this event. Mary's book is just so phenomenal. It's like the perfect book to give to parents, but also it's a perfect book to give to people who may not yet be ready for or who may already have the Book of Mormon. And I said, I just wish that I had more time to give her books away to people and kind of share their story. Now, before I tell you what, my mom was right here, by the way, on a tell the resemblance. Yes, it's very obvious. Before I tell you what she said, let me kind of do a sneak peek into my life and into my brain so you know where I'm coming from. So my family and I, we lived for about 10 years, the past 10 years in China, with about a year in Taiwan as well as California. And during this time, I was just amazed at how many friends and local neighbors would listen in complete rapture as I would rehearse to them just basic, simple truths and principles of the gospel that I would hear, every Sunday at church and at General Conference. And they were just famished. And I realized that, many of the women in the world do not hear these simple, beautiful truths of the gospel that we hear all the time. I'm kind of like, I just think Mary was saying, it's almost like they are going through life without these big candles. And the candle is the gospel of Jesus Christ. And it's a candle that sometimes I take for granted. But we can't always, first, the greatest, of course, gift to give these dearest brothers and sisters of ours is the Book of Mormon. This is the greatest gift of all, right? But there are times that when somebody isn't quite ready for the greatest gift, and they may need a little heart opener or an interest igniter. And I feel like this is kind of where Happinest comes in. And not only does it teach these fundamental principles of a strong family and a happy nest, but also it has the gospel of Jesus Christ just weaved in throughout the entire book in fun and natural ways. I love that. It's a very fun book to read. And and so back to the conversation with my mom, she jumps in and just says, Christy, that's it. That's what you should do. You should still do it. You have 3 entire days. I'll leave until Thursday. I'll just go round up some copies and drop it off at your house. And I was thinking to myself, technically, Mom, it's not really 3 whole days because we already have through Tuesday, and Thursday shouldn't really count, right? But I was like, okay, I'll try it out. So I come home from my own at 6:30 p.m. and lo and behold, there's this big Deseret book bag on my front porch. And I look inside, sitting to see 2, maybe 3 copies of Happinest, right? There's 8. That's when the panic comes in, and I'm like, my mom thinks that I need to give away 8 copies for Thursday, right? But unfortunately, 20 minutes later, my kids wanted to go and visit this neighbor that is been selling these barn kittens. We have some right now in our whole farmhouse. Anyways, TMI for you all, right? But so, we went over there, and this neighbor really fast, they are members of the Church of Jesus Christ, but they don't always come. And so while my kids were playing with the kittens, the oldest daughter of this family came to me and started talking to me. and just started sharing some of her family struggles that she had been facing recently. And suddenly I realized, wait, I have this bag, of books in my car. So I was like, wait, right there, I have something for you that you're gonna love. I reached over to my car, grabbed one of the Happinest books, and I came over and said, listen, I really love this book. It's really blessed my family in a variety of ways, and I just think it could bless your family. Do you want this? And she took it and said, yes, I would love it. And my mom, who loves reading books, would also, I think, just love this. And that was so wonderful and empowering to me. And that event kind of got the ball rolling. And you wouldn't believe it, but by Wednesday night, miracles happened. And I'm stunned to say that I somehow managed to pass out 5 Happinest books to people I never would have thought would have wanted, or I even had the courage to give them a kind of book. People, for example, this Christian neighbor from Moldova, as well as this atheist friend, and this biker chick, this spunky biker, cigarette smoking, feisty friend of mine. She also accepted this book, as well as the primary president in our ward. She's has little kids and is kind of throw a little kid and she really was appreciative for this book. Anyways, so Thursday morning, this morning, I'm like, is it this morning really? It's been so many rolls around, and now I've had books left for those mathematicians in the room. 3, right? I have 3 books left. I have 2 now. So what happened this morning, I will tell you. So this morning I had to help the biker, spunky woman, friend, who, because she's kind of right now bedridden right now, so I had to help her clear out her storage unit. And that's where I've been this entire morning. And it was quite the ordeal. I mean, it was, packed, mattresses, desks, boxes, lots of stuff. Anyways, as I'm kind of helping her clear this thing out, and she went back at home, this guy named Taylor, and if he watches this, you're amazing, Taylor. He's 20 years old, and he works at the storage unit, and he was helping me clear out the store, clear out all the boxes. He's, heaving the desks and the bed and all that kind of stuff. And after a couple hours, we're really tight with colleagues, right? And I'm like, who knew, right? He's kind of rough around the edges. Anyways, so 12 o'clock or so, I'm like, listen, I had a speaking thing I've got to run to. I'm gonna be late, but thanks so much. So I go to my car and I see the 3 books, on the next, on the car seat, and I'm like, he went on. I mean, he's 20, he was a guy, and it's kind of rough, this. I'm gonna give it to him. Because I'm speaking, so I've got to have, I've got to show my best. Anyway, so I go over, I'm like, listen, Taylor, I know that first I write a little thing, dear Taylor, anyways, and I'm like, I'm sure that this isn't really even go to, but you must have a book, then you actually gravitate to, but I really love it. It's helped help me and my family, and I just thought maybe seeing a woman and a mom, a girlfriend, and I like this book. What do you say? He's like, well, the only woman I have in my life right now is my grandma, which is really sweet actually. And he said, but you know what? I think she would love it. And I was like, really? And he said, and to be honest, if you love it this much, then I'm going to read it too. And in fact, I'm going to go and send you my notes on the book, my tailored Cliff Note version of this book. And I was like, are you serious? As you're listening to this? I want to let all the dice here. Anyway, it was just, I was so distracted. I went to my car and I just thought, who knew that a 20-year-old dear, roughly just kind of, like awesome, kind guy would actually commit himself to read this and send me notes of what he thought about it. So I just want to end with this testimony that each one of you has been commissioned as a member of the House of Israel to share his light and to uplift and to gather his children. And there are more people who are desperately wanting and seeking more light and direction. And there are some who are needlessly suffering because they don't have it yet in their lives than we realize around us. And I promise that as you make intentionally sharing his light and love in sometimes fun and happy and creative ways with those around you, you will see miracles happen in your life and you will feel more fulfilled. And I say this humbly in Jesus Christ. Amen.